Hello everybody, and welcome to this very quick video where I show you how to make a graph for your percent sugar solutions and your densities that you calculated. So you'll see up here already, what I did in this first column was I just put my percentage of sugar solution. So you don't have to write a heading here. I put the heading though just so I remember what's what. And I just put down 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. We really don't have to worry about units here because the units really are not going to matter when we make the actual graph. Then I put in column B, I put my density, and I just put whatever density I calculated for this. So again, notice I didn't include any sort of units for that. It's especially important that for your percentage of sugar, you don't put a percentage sign in there, and that's because Excel is going to make the graph where it's off by a couple of decimal points because it takes that percentage into consideration. So what you're going to do is we're just going to highlight this 0 portion. So I'm not going to highlight this top part here. I'm just going to take my 0% and you're going to place your finger right here on this point at this in the bottom right hand corner. And you're just going to drag until you get all of those numbers highlighted. So your screen should look something like this. At this point, we can start to make our graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Insert. Now, Insert's all the way up here. And we're going to click on Chart. So I'm going to go to Chart off to the side. And I'm going to scroll down to where it says XY Scatter. And we're going to make a scatter plot for this. So I'll click on XY Scatter. And then I'm going to click on the very first one. So the one in the upper left-hand corner. And your graph should look something like this when you're finished. The only thing is that graphs tend to, we like to label the axes, we like to give it a title. So at this point, we have our nice graph that's shown, but we want to label it just so we know what the axes are titled and give it a name. So to do that, we're going to click on Layouts. So Layouts, if you see my cursor up here, Layouts is right up here at this section. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm just going to click on this very top one again, the upper left-hand corner. And this is going to give us space so we can label our axes. I'm going to give this a nice chart title, and I'm just going to make this easy. So I'm just going to label this as percent sugar versus density. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. There's our title. I'm going to label my axis down at the bottom here. So if I notice, it looks like this is my percentage of sugar because I have 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm going to label this as percent sugar. And what I like to do for a graph is we like to label it with units in this part because it's always important for the reader to understand, okay, what percent or what units are you working with? Of course, it's kind of obvious in this case because it's percent, but we're just going to include that there on the bottom. I like to put it in parentheses. And then let's go ahead and label our y-axis over here. And our y-axis, clearly, if our percent sugar is on our x-axis, this must be the density. And density is in units of grams per milliliter. So I'm just going to highlight that there. At this point, you're done. You can just kind of make this look a little bit pretty. I like to get rid of this right here, and you can mess around with the layout by going to Elements. So Elements is right up here. I'm going to get rid of that legend, actually. So I'm going to put no legend because it makes my graph a little bit bigger. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a trend line, and the not very good thing about Excel on the iPad is that you cannot show an equation, but we actually really don't need an equation, but it does make it kind of nice for us to be able to answer the next question by doing this. So I'm going to click on Elements again, and I'm going to go down here to where it says trend line. And we'll see if I click back to my graph, it should look something like a straight line, our data. And that's because percentage sugar and density are proportional to one another. The higher the percentage of sugar, the more dense that solution is. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Elements. And again, I'm going to go to Trendline. And this is a linear slope, right? It is a straight line. So I'm going to click on Linear. And I'll see it should form a really nice straight line for us. And this straight line is what you're going to use in order to estimate the concentration of your unknown, whatever drink you decided to do. That wraps it up for how to make a graph in Excel. It's very simple. At this point, what I would like for you to do, actually it would make it easier for you to do this, is I would, underneath your title, I would just write your name so I know whose graph this is when they start printing out. And you can email this to me and I will print this out for you. It makes it nice and easy to answer the next question. So if you have any questions on what I explained in this video, please let me know. But that's it, pretty simple. I'll talk to you later. Bye.